Hello, everybody. This is Tim here again. Finally, with another review. This time for He's Strange. Doctor Strange, baby. I'm here with a review for Doctor Strange. I just want to start off and say I'm not a Marvel hater. I'm not a Disney hater. I'm not a DC hater. I judge each movie fairly, and I'm a comic fan. I've read the comics, and I want to start off and say right here, this is not one of the best Marvel films. It's not. Ant-Man is better than this film. It is. Ant-Man is better than this film. It is. But I will say this is a good film. It's not great. It's not phenomenal. It doesn't blow your mind. For some reason, people, DC, I don't believe that critics get paid to give DC bad reviews or anything like that. But every time a new Marvel film comes out, everybody's like, it's the best one yet. Whoa! Even if it's not that great. I mean, honestly, like, they always say that shit. This movie is not as good as Iron Man 1. It's better than Iron Man 2. It's slightly better than Iron Man 3. Slightly. It's not as good as Ant-Man. It's not as good as any of the Captain Americas, nor either of the Avengers films. It's barely better than, it's slightly better, it's better than the Incredible Hulk. It's better than the Incredible Hulk. That is still the worst Marvel film. Still the worst. Well, no, I would say Iron Man 2 is the worst, personally, for me. A lot of people say Incredible Hulk, but I think that's the second worst after Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is just the pits for me in terms of this franchise. But just to jump into this film, I've read the Doctor Strange comic. Doctor Strange is like a serious character. Yes, when you do a Doctor Strange movie for film, the magic stuff can be kind of hokey, so you have to play it a certain way to get people to buy into it. But at the same time, right off the bat, this movie starts out with like fucking Britney Spears playing, and it destroys the character and how serious this character should be. This is a serious comic book character. This is like if the Punisher started out with, if you like it, then you better put a ring on it. It's like, what? And I know why. I know why. It's because this is an occult character who does magic with basically, occult magic. And Disney was nervous about that when they made this. So they added in more and more humor, and you can tell the humor's forced in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was reshoots done in this movie. I don't know if there was, but I would not be surprised if there was reshoots to add in humor in this film. But you can tell, man, you can tell the humor here is badly forced. Bad. You can tell when you watch this movie that Disney had to have been nervous about the occult stuff, and that they forced in jokes just at random areas where they're in the film where they shouldn't even be there. And the villain, once again, is terrible. Terrible, man. They just get worse and worse. The bad guy in this movie is the dude from the Hannibal TV series. This guy is a good actor, and he deserves better. And he's in this movie. He just plays like some dude named, he might as well be like Black Eye Man. He just looks like some reject who's watched The Crow too many times, and he painted black shit all over his eyes. It's ridiculous looking. And just the character, he's not even a character. He's like a friggin' plot device. He does nothing. He accomplishes nothing. And when him and Doctor Strange get into a fight, this guy knows way more about magic than Doctor Strange, and he should be able to like fucking come close to dominating Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange like kicks his ass and traps him, and he's sitting there pathetic. Doctor Strange is pretty much friggin' won. And it's like, what? The villain is terrible in these films. Terrible. Every Marvel film, all the villains suck. Except Loki. They all suck. Winter Soldier does not count. He is not a villain. But anyway, other than the terrible humor, acting wise, the acting is good. The acting's good. I had no problem with the acting. Benedict Cumberbatch, I am a fan of this dude. He does a good job as Doctor Strange. He does good. He does good. Also, another thing, this movie feels rushed. Like Doctor Strange, he just practices magic for like a day, and like the next day he like seems like he knows everything. And they try to make up for it by having a line where like, you were born to do sorcery. It's like, oh, you're the chosen one. I hate that plot device in movies where they're like, oh, you're special. You're the one. You just didn't know it this whole time. That's why you're just so damn good. I hate that. I hate character shit like that in movies. I hate it. And Tilda Swinton, Yes, this should have been like an Asian actor or whatever from the comics. It should have been an Asian actor playing this character. It should have. Yes, it would have been more stereotypical, but it would have kept to the source material. But either way, we got Tilda Swinton, and Tilda Swinton, she does it. She does a good job. She was my favorite part of the movie. Like I said, I'm honest with every movie I review. Tilda Swinton was my favorite part of this film. Favorite. She shows up with that shaved head, and when she like cracks a smile or something like that, she makes me laugh my ass off. She's very charming in this film. I found her to be a huge delight in this movie. Very funny. And when they do the magic stuff, and it's like it is like a rip off of Inception, but when they do the magic stuff and they're like bending, like waving their arms and dimensions are like closing in on each other and shit's bending like that, buildings are, that is awesome. That is so cool. Best parts of the film. And when they had the big climactic battle in the movie, that's when the movie really picked up for me. And like all these roads are breaking apart, and you've seen it in the trailer. They're like running up buildings and stuff, and it's like imploding in on itself like the buildings are. Best part of the movie. A plus. Great stuff. Great action. Great. I honestly still it's this I like the fight in Ant-Man still slightly better than this. The ending, Ant-Man is not a great movie, but it's a good movie. It has more charm to it than this film. And at the end of Ant-Man, when they're doing that cool fight where they're miniature and everything, that was fucking awesome. This right here is really cool visually. It's really cool, but there doesn't seem to be enough charm to it. It's almost like, let's just see how crazy we can get, and get away with it. It almost feels like they just knew they had to do this, so they're just going to it. It's like you don't feel any real stakes. It's like almost like we had to rush into this battle because the bad guy disappears for fucking huge chunks of this movie, and it's like he just pops up at random time, just at a random time. And it's like, shit, we gotta bring him back in. We gotta do action. Come on, let's get him back in. Come on. It really honestly feels like that. And I will give this movie credit. I like, other than that, the great action, the special effects are great. Other than that, and the good acting in the movie, the acting is still good in the movie. And I also love the battle when they're like the dude with the black eyes or whatever, the main bad guy's like going after Doctor Strange, and they're like walking on the sides of the room or whatever, the sides of the walls, and he like makes a spell where the room keeps like the door keeps stretching further and further away at the end of the hallway that Doctor Strange is trying to get to. I love that, and I even like the ghost battle in the movie. Some people say it was too hokey and like Frighteners or whatever, but you can only do ghosts like so many different ways. You can't really do that as like a horror film. I mean, in a superhero movie, it could be kind of weird. I agree, it should have been more like a horror film tone wise. It should have. But once again, it's the Disney thing. They just cannot. They can't go there. They can't. That's why you're never going to get a live action Ghost Rider movie again, as long as Disney holds the rights, because Disney will not do a rated R superhero film. They won't. They will not do it. They just won't. And you're not going to get Daredevil either because of that. You won't. So, for what we got, I thought it was cool. It was cool. It wasn't perfect. It's a little hokey, a little like Casper, but it was cool. And I like how Doctor Strange defeated the other dude who was played by Scott Adkins, who does some really cool martial arts moves, and he like friggin' gets Rachel McAdams to defibrillate his body, and it causes like a shockwave through his soul because they're connected, and it hits the other guy's ghost, Scott Adkins' ghost, and like blows him up. That was cool. And another thing, just the humor, more forced than humor every second. Like Doctor Strange, when he shouldn't even be like this goofy humor type dude. Like he walks into this room to talk to this librarian, he's like, what are you doing, Beyonce? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? It's like they're trying to mesh two different styles of film together. They're trying to mesh like the jokey Thor crap into a film like should be more serious, like more of like an occult Batman movie or something, because Doctor Strange is a more serious, dark character like Batman and Daredevil, and they're trying to merge like jokey Thor shit with that kind of character, and it's like it's imploding on each other. They're imploding. It's not working, and but there is Benedict Cumberbatch. He tries to do those lines, but it's not even. He's not bad acting in those scenes, but the dialogue coming out of his mouth is so forced, and you can just see that it just does not fit at all. And I like that the dude who's his partner though, the actor who plays his partner in the film, Mordor, the character's name, I like how he's going to be the bad guy in the second one. That was a cool setup and a neat idea, and he's already got like basically his origin story out of the way because he was in the first movie. So we'll finally might get a good villain in the second one in a Marvel film other than Loki. It finally may happen, folks. So that's good. And I like that actor, and I thought he did a good job. And Tilda Swinton was very charming. And when she dies like really, it's kind of like a brutal hit because she like falls off these buildings. Well, she falls through a portal and comes down through these buildings in the real world and smacks this glass and slams straight on the concrete ground in the middle of like New York City or whatever. That was cool. And when she like astral projects and she's having to talk with Doctor Strange about death and stuff like that, I like that stuff. And I like the message of this movie. Like Doctor Strange, he gets hurt, he can't use his hands anymore because he's a doctor, and that's been his whole life. And he's given up on life because he doesn't realize that he can still live and move on and help people in other ways besides just being a doctor and with his hands. And so it's all like a message of don't let your defects take you down. Like if you have nerve damage in your hands and you want to help people, find another way to help people. You're still helping people, so it's just going to be just as viable, in a way to society because you're helping people. So just find another way. Don't let your disabilities get you down. I like that. That was cool. I like that little element. That was cool for the movie, and that was good. This movie's directed by Scott Derrickson, and I like Scott Derrickson as a director. I love Sinister. Sinister kicks ass. And I like Hellraiser Inferno, too. That is a good Hellraiser sequel. It was different at the time. The other later Hellraiser films copied it and crapped all over it because they kept ripping it off. But when it came out, being the first of its kind to do the mind warp thing in the Hellraiser films, that film was good. That was a good Hellraiser film. And I like the ending to this film. I like the final battle, how it's not just chaos and superhero crap. I like how Doctor Strange beats the main dude like Dormammu or whatever by outsmarting him. He finds another way. He puts like a time spell and he goes in there and he's got him in a loop and there's nothing he can do to escape. But one thing I hate is after Dormammu agrees to like leave Earth is like Doctor Strange breaks the time spell because he has to do it in order to leave to get out of there. But why would this big creature, Dormammu demon thing, keep its word? Why wouldn't he? I just find it hard to believe that this creature would keep its word. I mean, why wouldn't he just destroy the Earth anyway, or keep trying? Because once the dude breaks his spell, just attack. Just attack. Why keep your word and fly off or whatever? I don't get that, but I like how inventive it was, and it's like a Groundhog Day thing because he keeps killing Doctor Strange, and it's funny. It's funny. I like how the time thing that he was using to do the time spells was an Infinity Stone. That was cool. Helps connect it to the larger universe. I like that. And then at the end, he like looks at his hands and they're shaking, and the film pretty much just ends. Now that's another problem I have with this. I find it hard to believe that this dude, Doctor Strange, who can master time spells and sacred spells that nobody but the Ancient One can supposedly learn. I know it's like that also because he's going to be the new Sorcerer Supreme now that Tilda Swinton's dead. But at the same time, if he can master like these amazing spells that no one can do except like the Sorcerer Supreme, you telling me this dude can control time, but he can't heal his hands. He can't heal his hands, but he can control time. And then this other dude who knows hardly nothing has the ability to heal his back, and Doctor Strange, who knows a shit ton, can't heal his hands. I can't buy that. I cannot buy that. There is nothing that can make me buy that. So all in all, 3-star film, a good movie, and I love the after credits scene with Thor. Hilarious. And the problems with this movie, the humor is forced in so bad. The villain once again is crap. But all that's the big 2 problems for this film. The pluses are the action is cool. The acting is good, and the final with the time control is good, and the story has heart. They try to capture heart with this story, which I like, and they did a good job with it, with the whole learning how to get past your disability thing. I like that part. Those things are good. Those are enough to make this a good superhero film, but there's nothing mind-blowing in this film. And if this movie is like super awesome to you, that's cool. I've seen Marvel films that I think are super awesome. And if this film is right up your alley, that's awesome. I'm the type of guy that if I don't like a movie, I honestly, even if I give a review for a film and I don't like it, I don't think people should like not check it out because I don't like it. Go see it for yourself. Make your own decision. This is just my opinion. And the film is cool for you. That's awesome. For me, this is just a good superhero film. It's not great. It's not bad. It's right there in the middle. It's good. It's good. It has the potential to have a much better sequel with a much better villain. And I'm honestly more excited to see the sequel than I am after seeing this film. But it's not bad. But it just feels like another paint by numbers Marvel film with some cool stuff in it. Enough to make it a good superhero film, but the Marvel formula is kind of starting to weigh in on itself. DC will get there too, but because DC only has like 3 movies out in their universe, it's not as bad. It's not as bad yet. Like the formula getting stale. It's gonna happen though. It happens to every franchise. It happens to everything once there's so many movies. There's so many Marvel films now, so many, and I've seen so many that by the time I get up to this one, I'm like, come on, man, give me something cooler here. And especially when you try to infect the movie with Disney humor that shouldn't be there. And then there's this big dramatic moment. And then right after it, Doctor Strange is like looking in the mirror with his cape on. Not once his cape like starts like tickling his face, and I'm like, why is that there? Why is that joke there? It's to lighten the mood and keep reminding people that, hey, this is for kids too. It's okay, kids. You can enjoy it. But I hate stuff like that because that makes me think that people think kids are fucking retarded. Kids will enjoy something even if it's stretched for adults. When I was a kid and I watched Terminator 2, I thought it was awesome. Awesome. And that film has maybe just one little jokey scene. That's it. Where Edward Furlong tries to teach the Terminator how to be more social. That's it. Unless you're just one of those people who thinks that all superhero films have to have jokey stuff, which I totally disagree with that. If it's not appropriate for the character, it shouldn't be there. And this kind of humor where like Doctor Strange is like, try me, Beyonce, that is terrible. But still, a good superhero film. I've ragged on the film because this film should have been better. It's not terrible. It's not. And I'm probably making it sound worse than it is. But it is a good film. This is a good film. But it just feels like it's just another Marvel film. There's nothing here other than the cool ending and the cool action. There's nothing here. Like if this was the first Marvel film I saw, I wouldn't be excited to see the others. I would leave this film going, it was good, but there's nothing here that really grabbed me. One of those types of films. But this film is not bad. It's not. In my opinion, this is not a bad film. But it's just not. It's not anywhere near its potential. It's not. And Rachel McAdams is wasted bad here. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of hers, but she does nothing in this film. I mean, I literally forgot she even existed. But yeah, all in all, this is still a good superhero film. It is. So, I will see you guys again with another review.